Welcome to our deep dive into Adam Smith's The Wealth of Nations,
Oh, yeah.
a book that's considered like the bedrock of modern economics.
Absolutely.
So imagine, you're trying to understand today's complex financial world
Yeah.
without a map.
Right.
Well, that's kind of what The Wealth of Nations provides.
Dope.
It gives us a framework for understanding
Yeah.
how markets work, why some nations prosper while others struggle,
Right.
and how individual choices impact the bigger picture.
It's amazing how a book written in the 18th century can still be so relevant today.
I know, it's incredible.
Smith's insights into human behavior, the power of incentives, and the dynamics of supply and demand. I mean, they're as true now as they were then.
It's really true.
It's pretty remarkable.
So let's dive right in.
Okay.
Smith starts with this seemingly simple concept,
Okay.
the division of labor.
Uh-huh.
And he uses the example of a pin factory, which you have to admit it doesn't sound all that exciting at first.
No, not really glamorous, is it?
No.
But it's actually a brilliant illustration
Okay.
of how specialization
Uh-huh.
can dramatically increase productivity.
Okay.
So imagine one person
Okay.
trying to make an entire pin from start to finish.
Wow, yeah.
Mining the metal, drawing the wire, shaping it, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It would be incredibly time-consuming
Yeah.
and inefficient.
They'd be a jack of all trades, master of none, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But as Smith observed,
Yeah?
if you break down that pin-making process
Uh-huh.
into separate tasks,
Okay.
with each worker specializing in just one step,
Okay.
you get a massive boost in output.
Interesting.
Each worker becomes highly skilled at their specific task,
Yeah.
and you eliminate the time wasted
Right.
switching between different activities.
So it's like an assembly line.
Precisely.
For each person plays a specific role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Smith actually calculated this, that a team of 10 workers,
Okay.
each specializing in a single task,
Uh-huh.
could produce tens of thousands of pins per day.
Wow.
Whereas a single worker
Yeah.
trying to do everything would struggle to make even a handful.
That's a staggering difference.
It is.
Yeah.
Huge.
And this principle of specialization,
Yeah.
it's not just limited to pin factories, is it?
No, not at all.
No.
It applies to
Yeah.
virtually every industry
Wow.
and even to our personal lives.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Think about how much more efficient you are
Yeah.
when you focus on your strengths and collaborate with others who have complementary skills.
So if I'm a terrible cook, I'm better off focusing on what I'm good at and just ordering takeout.
Well, there's a limit to how far we can take the division of labor.
Yeah.
But the point is that specialization
Yeah.
allows us to be more productive
Okay.
and create more value.
Yeah.
It's one of the fundamental building blocks
Yeah.
of a thriving economy.
This is making me see even everyday tasks in a new light.
I love it.
Okay, so we've got specialization,
Yeah.
but how do all these specialized goods and services
Right.
actually get exchanged?
Yeah, that's a great question.
That's where Smith's next big idea comes in.
It is.
Money.
It's money.
Before money,
Yeah.
people relied on bartering,
Right.
which could be incredibly cumbersome.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine trying to trade a cow for a pair of shoes.
Right.
You'd have to find someone
Mm-hmm.
who not only wanted a cow,
Yeah.
but also had shoes in the right size and style.
Totally.
Okay.
And hopefully the cow and the shoes were roughly equal value.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
bartering requires what economists call a double coincidence of wants,
Oh, wow.
which is pretty rare.
It does sound rare, yeah.
Money solves this problem.
Okay.
By acting as a common medium of exchange, it allows us to easily compare the value of different goods and services
Right.
and make transactions smoothly
Yeah.
without having to find that perfect barter match.
So it's like money greases the wheels of the economy.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
I like that.
Allows things to move faster
Yeah, it enables things.
and more efficiently.
Yeah, it makes it much more efficient.
Yeah.
And Smith understood that money wasn't just a convenience.
Right.
It was fundamental
Mm-hmm.
for enabling economic growth
Oh.
by facilitating trade and specialization.
Yeah.
Money allows economies to become much more complex
Right.
and productive.
Okay, so we've got division of labor.
Yeah.
We've got money.
Mm-hmm.
But what determines the actual value
Right.
of all these goods and services that are being traded?
That is the question.
Is it just whatever people are willing to pay?
Well, that's a question that has puzzled economists for centuries.
I bet.
Smith argued that the ultimate source of value is labor.
Okay.
The more labor that goes into producing something,
Uh-huh.
the more valuable it is.
So a handmade sweater
Yeah.
is more valuable than a mass-produced one because it embodies more human effort.
More human effort, time, skill, all of that.
Yeah.
Think about a handcrafted piece of furniture versus one that's churned out by a factory.
Yeah.
The handcrafted piece often commands a higher price.
Right.
Because it represents more skill.
Yeah.
Time and artistry.
Yeah.
Of course, there are other factors that influence price,
Right.
like scarcity and demand.
Right.
But Smith saw labor as this underlying foundation of value, kind of at the root of it all.
It makes you think differently about those price tags we see every day.
Doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
So we've got division of labor,
Yep.
money, and labor as the measure of value.
We do. What's next?
Well, Smith then tackles the question of how income is generated and distributed within a society. And he breaks it down into three main categories. Wages for labor, profit for those employing capital, and rent for landowners. So those are like the slices of the economic pie.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And he explores what factors influence these sources of income. For example, if there's a shortage of skilled labor in a particular field, wages will tend to be higher. Conversely, if there's an oversupply of a certain commodity, the price will likely fall and the profits derived from it.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So this is starting to sound very practical.
It is.
Understanding these dynamics can help people make more informed financial decisions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whether you're negotiating a salary, investing in a business, or even just deciding what to buy at the grocery store.
Wow.
Understanding the interplay of supply and demand, wages, profit, rent, can give you a real advantage.
So the Wealth of Nations is like a roadmap.
It is a roadmap.
For navigating the complexities of the economic world.
I love that analogy.
And we've only just begun to scratch the surface.
We have just scratched the surface.
One of the most fascinating and often debated concepts Smith introduces is the idea of the invisible hand.
The invisible hand.
That sounds mysterious.
It does, doesn't it?
What exactly is this invisible hand?
It's the idea that individuals pursuing their own self-interest can, without intending to benefit society as a whole.
So someone starting a business to make a profit could end up creating jobs and providing goods or services that people need.
Exactly. Their self-interested actions can have positive ripple effects throughout the economy.
That's a powerful idea.
It is a powerful idea.
But doesn't it also assume that people will act ethically?
That's the question.
And responsibly in their pursuit of self-interest.
It's a crucial point.
Yeah.
And Smith wasn't naive about the potential for greed and exploitation.
Yeah.
He recognized the need for some level of government regulation to ensure fair play, prevent monopolies, and protect the public good.
So it's not a completely hands-off approach. Even for someone who believed in the power of free markets.
Not completely hands-off.
Yes.
Smith saw a role for government in providing public goods like education, infrastructure, and national defense. Things that are essential for a flourishing society, but that the market might not provide adequately on its own.
This is a lot. We're covering a lot of ground.
We are.
But I'm starting to get a sense of Smith's overall philosophy.
Okay, good.
It's about understanding the forces that drive economic activity. Both at the individual and societal level.
Exactly. And he believed that by understanding these forces, we could create a more prosperous and just society for everyone.
I love that.
That was the goal.
This deep dive is truly illuminating.
Good. I'm glad.
We've explored division of labor. Money. The invisible hand. The role of government.
It's a lot.
I'm eager to see where Smith's insights take us next.
Me too. There's so much more to uncover.
Okay.
Why don't we take a pause here?
Okay, that's good.
And in our next segment, we'll delve into how Smith viewed the evolution of economies. From simple agricultural societies to more complex systems of trade and manufacturing.
Sounds good. Welcome back to our deep dive into Adam Smith's The Wealth of Nations. Last time we explored some of Smith's foundational ideas. The division of labor. The role of money. And that concept of the invisible hand. We also touched on how Smith saw income being generated.
We did.
Through wages, profits, and rent, which is a framework that's still relevant today.
Absolutely.
For understanding how wealth is created and distributed.
It's amazing how these concepts written centuries ago still hold true in our modern economy.
It really is.
It speaks to Smith's incredible insight into human behavior.
Right.
And the fundamental principles that drive economic activity.
It really does.
Yeah.
So let's build on that foundation.
Okay.
One thing that really struck me is how Smith traced the development of economies over time.
Yeah.
From simpler agricultural societies to the more complex systems that we see today.
That's a key aspect of The Wealth of Nations.
Yeah.
Smith wasn't just describing the economy of his time.
Right.
He was trying to understand how economies evolve, what factors contribute to their growth and prosperity.
So where does he begin this exploration?
Well, he starts with simpler agricultural societies, where most people are engaged in farming. And wealth is primarily derived from the land. And he points out that in these early systems, there's often a lot of waste because people haven't yet figured out how to specialize and trade effectively.
So it's like everyone's trying to be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
But they end up producing less overall because they're not focusing on what they're best at.
You got it. Yeah. Without specialization, you have individuals spending time and energy on tasks they're not particularly skilled at.
Right.
And this limits overall production and keeps the society from reaching its full potential.
It's kind of like trying to build a house all by yourself.
Yeah.
You might eventually get it done.
You might.
But it would take much longer.
Yeah.
And the quality might not be as good as if you had, specialized carpenters.
Exactly.
Electricians, plumbers, and so on.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Now imagine that those individual builders start to realize they can be much more efficient if they focus on their own craft and trade their services with others.
Right.
That's essentially the leap that Smith describes as economies move beyond basic agriculture.
So as people begin to specialize, you start to see like the emergence of new trades and crafts.
Precisely. Yeah. Blacksmiths, weavers, carpenters, merchants, and so on.
Right.
This specialization leads to a surge in productivity. Because individuals can become highly skilled at their chosen trade and produce more goods and services of higher quality.
And with more goods and services available, you need a more efficient way to exchange them.
You do.
That's where money comes in.
Exactly.
Right.
Money acts as a lubricant, allowing for smoother transactions and the development of more sophisticated markets. And as these markets grow, so do towns and cities, becoming centers of commerce and innovation.
It's fascinating to see how these economic forces start to reshape the social and geographic landscape.
It's really quite remarkable. Smith saw this evolution as a natural progression, driven by human ingenuity, the desire for greater efficiency, and the pursuit of self-interest.
Right.
And as societies become more complex, so too do their systems of trade and finance.
It makes you wonder, if Smith were alive today, what would he think about our globalized economy?
Oh, yeah.
With instant communication and goods flowing across borders at an unprecedented rate.
That's a fascinating question.
It really is.
On one hand, I think he'd be amazed by the speed and scale of modern commerce. The world has become the pin factory he envisioned, with countries specializing in producing certain goods and services and trading with each other on a global scale.
He'd probably be impressed by the internet, too.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a digital marketplace that facilitates trade and connects people across vast distances.
But I also think he'd be quick to point out the challenges that come with globalization.
For sure.
Such as the potential for exploitation, inequality, and environmental degradation. If these complex systems aren't managed responsibly.
If we don't pay attention to those things, they can definitely get out of hand.
So his insights are still relevant?
Oh, absolutely.
In helping us understand the complexities
they are.
And potential pitfalls of the modern economy.
I think so.
Yeah.
His work provides a framework for analyzing how globalization impacts different countries and communities. And it reminds us that the pursuit of economic growth should always be balanced with considerations of fairness, sustainability, and the well-being of all members of society.
It's like he's giving us this set of tools to diagnose and address the economic challenges of our time.
I love that.
Now, speaking of challenges, Smith was also a sharp critic.
He was.
Of what was then the dominant economic theory. Mercantilism.
Mercantilism, that's right.
All about maximizing a nation's wealth.
Okay.
By accumulating gold and silver.
Okay.
It emphasized exports over imports. And often involved heavy government intervention.
To protect domestic industries.
So it sounds like a very zero-sum view of economics.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
One country's gain is another's loss.
And the Smith argued that true wealth lay not in hoarding precious metals, but in the productive capacity of a nation.
Exactly.
Its ability to create goods and services that people value.
Yes.
So it's not about how much gold you have in your treasury, but how much you can produce and trade.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Smith believed that free trade, not protectionism, would lead to greater prosperity for all nations involved. He argued that even if one country could produce everything more cheaply than another, it would still be beneficial for both countries to trade.
That seems counterintuitive at first.
It does.
Why would a country that's better at producing everything want to trade with others?
Well, because it allows both countries to specialize in what they do best and produce more overall. Imagine a country that's highly efficient at producing both cars and computers by focusing on car production and trading with another country that specializes in computers. They can both end up with more cars and computers than if they each tried to produce everything themselves.
So it's not just about absolute advantage, but also about comparative advantage.
You got it.
Focusing on what you're relatively better at producing.
Yes.
Smith's insights into trade have had a profound impact on how we think about international economics.
They have been very influential.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that trade, when conducted fairly and openly, can be a powerful engine for economic growth and prosperity.
It's a powerful argument for cooperation and collaboration.
I agree.
Yeah.
In a world that often seems focused on competition and self-interest.
Yeah, and while Smith was a strong advocate for free markets,
he
also recognized that they weren't perfect. And that government had a role to play in ensuring fairness and stability.
Yeah, we touched on that earlier.
We did.
About government providing things like education and infrastructure.
Right.
But what about the overall relationship between government and the economy?
Where did Smith draw the line?
Well, Smith believed that government had important but limited roles to play. He argued against excessive intervention in the market, trusting that in many cases, the invisible hand would do a better job of allocating resources. However, he also recognized that government had a responsibility to protect property rights, enforce contracts, and provide a stable legal framework for businesses to operate.
So it's about finding that sweet spot.
It is.
Between allowing markets to function freely and having governments step in when necessary to ensure fairness and prevent abuse.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Smith saw the dangers of both too much and too little government involvement. Excessive regulation could stifle innovation and economic growth. While a lack of oversight could lead to monopolies, exploitation, and market instability.
It's a debate that's still very much alive today.
Oh, it is.
We see it play out in discussions about taxes, regulations, social safety nets, and the role of government in addressing issues like climate change.
Absolutely.
And income inequality.
Yes, it's a testament to the enduring relevance of Smith's work that these fundamental questions about the relationship between government and the economy continue to be debated.
I know, it's incredible.
Centuries later.
This deep dive is really giving us a lot to think about.
I'm glad to hear it.
We've explored how economies evolve, the benefits of free trade, the complexities of globalization, and that delicate balance between government and markets.
And through it all, we see Smith's brilliant insights into human behavior.
It's really true.
The power of incentives and the dynamics of a system where individuals pursuing their own interests can... under the right conditions, create a more prosperous society.
This is truly fascinating.
It is a fascinating topic.
Where do we go from here?
Well,
What other gems of wisdom
So many.
does the wealth of nations hold for us?
We've just begun to scratch the surface.
I know, I feel like we've covered so much.
There's so much more.
But there's so much more.
Yeah, in our final segment,
Okay.
let's explore some of his observations about wages, profits, and rent, the forces that shape how wealth is distributed within a society. We'll also delve into the critical role of productivity as the engine of economic progress.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the wealth of nations.
Back again.
We've covered so much ground.
I know it's a lot.
From pin factories to global trade, from the invisible hand to the role of government. And we've seen how Smith's ideas, though written centuries ago, still resonate so deeply in the 21st century.
It's pretty amazing.
It really is. It's made me think differently about how economies work and the forces that shape our daily lives.
Yeah, me too.
One of the things that really struck me as we were preparing for this deep dive was how much Smith emphasized the importance of productivity.
Productivity is key.
It was a recurring theme, wasn't it?
It really was.
Throughout the book.
Yeah, it was central to his thinking.
Yeah.
Smith believed that a nation's wealth ultimately depends on its ability to produce goods and services efficiently. He saw productivity as the engine of economic progress.
So the more we can produce with the same amount of resources, the better off we are as a society.
The better off everyone is.
Yeah.
Increased productivity leads to lower prices, higher wages, a higher standard of living for everyone.
Yeah.
It allows us to create more value with the resources that we have.
But productivity isn't just about working harder, is it? It's also about working smarter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Smith recognized the importance of innovation, technology, and education in boosting productivity. He saw investing in these areas as essential for long-term economic growth.
So it's not just about sweating it out in the fields or the factories. It's about investing in knowledge, skills, and new ways of doing things.
New and better ways of doing things.
This makes me think about how we approach economic challenges today. For example, stagnant wages and income inequality.
Big issues.
Are major concerns in many countries.
Absolutely.
Could Smith's focus on productivity offer any insights
I think so.
into these issues?
Yeah. His work reminds us that if we want to see wages rise and living standards improve, we need to focus on policies.
Boost productivity? That means investing in education, promoting innovation, and removing barriers to entrepreneurship.
So instead of just arguing about how to redistribute the pie, we should be thinking about how to make the pie bigger in the first place.
I like that analogy. It's about creating an environment where businesses can thrive, workers can develop their skills, and new ideas can flourish.
And this isn't just about economics on a national scale, is it?
No.
It also applies to our own individual lives.
Absolutely. We can all strive to be more productive. In our work, our hobbies, even our daily routines.
Maybe that means learning a new skill, adopting new technologies, or simply finding ways to streamline our processes.
Exactly. We can all benefit from applying Smith's principles of efficiency and innovation to our own lives.
You know, as we've been discussing Smith's ideas,
I've been struck by his optimism. Despite all the complexities and challenges that he observed, he seemed to believe that human ingenuity and the power of free markets could lead to a better future.
He had a deep faith in the power of human reason and the potential for progress. He saw the market as a force for good, capable of creating wealth, improving lives, and lifting people out of poverty.
But he wasn't naive, was he?
No, he wasn't.
He understood that markets aren't perfect.
That's right.
And that there's a role for government in ensuring fairness and stability.
There is.
So it's not a blind faith in markets, but a more nuanced view that recognizes both their power and their limitations.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes Smith's work so enduring. He provides us with a framework for understanding these complex economic systems, for analyzing both the benefits and the potential pitfalls of market forces, and for thinking critically about the role of government in shaping a just and prosperous society
This has been an incredible journey.
It has.
Through the wealth of nations.
It really has.
We've covered so much ground.
Too much.
From, the pin factories to global trade.
Yeah.
From the invisible hand.
Invisible hand.
To the importance of productivity.
Yeah, and we've seen how Smith's ideas,
right,
though written centuries ago, still resonate deeply in the 21st century.
It's a testament.
It is.
To the enduring power of observation.
Yeah.
Clear thinking. And a deep understanding of human nature.
I agree.
If you're looking for a way to understand the forces that shape our world, to make more informed decisions in your own life,
yes,
to engage in thoughtful discussions about the future of our economy, I encourage you to pick up a copy of The Wealth of Nations.
Yes, do it.
And embark on your own deep dive.
You won't regret it.
You might be surprised by how much it speaks to the challenges and opportunities we face today.
It's really true.
Smith's work is a reminder that great ideas can transcend time and place, offering insights and inspiration for generations to come.
Absolutely.
And with that,
yes,
we'll wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
We hope you've enjoyed exploring the wealth of nations with us.
I hope so.
Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning,
yes,
and keep diving deep.